best entertainment on the earth. Tune in for Comics with Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Well, unfortunately, and we're in an era where we're going to get a lot of this. Neal Adams has passed away at 80. Obviously, a legendary comic artist, probably best known for Batman. I think that's where he gets tagged. But he wound up creating and drawing and being a part of many comics throughout all companies, and definitely a kind of major force. And it goes back to just prove that, you know, people are not with us forever. It's important to appreciate what you have. I mean, obviously, George Perez is not doing well, and we anticipate that anticipate's definitely the wrong word, but we know that we probably don't have that many more days left with him. You know, people like there's a lot of creators out there that are aging, and so we should appreciate them while here. Well, Neal Adams is someone that I've always enjoyed. I've loved his work. And I've had good, very, very good interactions with him at cons. I know that there's been at least some, you know, prior to this, people are saying a lot of nice things about Neal Adams, as they should today. But he, you know, previous to this, I think that there was at least, he had a little bit of a reputation that he could be unpredictable, potentially at comic conventions. And he was also, I think he was known for being, and probably maybe the best way to put it is brutally honest. Now, he would ask you if you wanted him to be, but if you went for an artist or portfolio review, he would be very critical of the work. But I, you know, for me at least, I would always appreciate kind of that behavior. I think he was, you know, he had spicy takes certainly on Twitter when he was there. He's you know, cantankerous kind of is the term, but at its core is a guy who was a real master of the craft, had certainly a good heart, definitely kind of believed in everything he had given to the comic industry. I mean, he knew his importance to it, and I think sometimes in some interviews that could come off a little off-putting, but he also did it. I mean, when somebody's talking about kind of their impact in the comic industry, and you're Neal Adams and you actually made that impact, and I mean, yeah, you are You're talking to somebody who legitimately has the chops to back up everything that he's saying. So he's you know, he's a good guy. I remember I'd come across a story. There was this strange little feud that had gone on, and feud's probably too strong a word. But Neal Adams would sell prints, and he like all comic artists. I mean, they're selling prints at conventions, and he would charge for pictures. So if you want to get your picture taken with him, I think he did different things at different costs, but generally speaking, he would charge for photos. And so people would ask for a photo, and then, you know, he'd charge $20. And I remember a number of the other artists started either friendly ribbing is probably the best way to put it. I remember Mark Bagley, several other artists would kind of make jokes about it and say, you know, we'll take pictures for free. And I cannot remember. I'm struggling now with which artist it was. Somebody in the that's listening to this will be able to tell me. Put a little sign up on their table saying, "I'm not Neal Adams. I'm not Neal Adams. My photos are free." And so this became kind of a bit in some of the shows. Last time I saw Neal Adams, got to interact with him, chat with him for a while, and actually walk around a little bit on the floor was during the San Jose Comic Con. It was one that Wozniak put out, and Neal Adams was involved in some new tech initiatives that were pretty cool. And in addition to being an artist, he was lending kind of his talents to some new technology. And what struck me was, unlike many other people in comics, he was leaned forward in trying to learn and at least hear about other new things. He wanted to be a part of it. He was very aware of kind of the issue that comic artists get themselves into, where they don't adapt with changing technology or changing times. So he was very interested in kind of listening and learning and trying to make sure that, you know, for self-interest or not, he wanted to be a part of it. And that was pretty amazing. I mean, you know, Adams, like I said, he worked on Archie, he worked on Batman, worked on Strange Adventures. Deadman obviously was a big breakout character for him that a lot of people know him as, but really it's his work, I think, with Denny O'Neil on Batman doing his, just masterclass renditions of Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Batman, Robin, Ra's al Ghul. All of these, I think he really defined an era, much in the way that George Perez defined a lot of the Titans characters. I think Neal Adams was clearly that influential, that guiding artist spirit at DC. Classic covers of Green Lantern, Green Arrow, did amazing work there. I mean, in general, during that time period, I was trying to think, were there any characters that looked clunky under the hand of Neal Adams? I don't think so. I think he was just an incredible talent. He again was outspoken with a number of things that he passionately believed in, and that's good. He didn't always leave well. I mean, his departure from Archie was known as being a little bit rough, I think, is probably the best way to put it. And I think that there was definitely some, different opinions of him and kind of his career. But, when it came down to putting it on the page, he did amazing work, did great work on the X-Men, did great work on many of the characters that we know and love. I think his last big piece, he did the Batman Ra's al Ghul. He did the Fantastic Four series with Mark Waid a year or two ago, right? Did that mini series. He's definitely going to be deeply missed within comics. He was somebody who, like I said, if you look at a lot of how DC characters, villains, heroes, everything else are rendered today, their artistic style, the costuming, how they look, everything else, a lot of it, even in 2022, is leaning back on a style that Adams created in the 70s. And so it's definitely a sad miss. So what I'm curious about, certainly for anybody listening, what were your favorite issues that Neal Adams was involved in? Obviously, I loved his Green Lantern, Green Arrow work. I think that he managed to make the power of Green Lantern look cosmic and impressive in a time when I think a lot of people struggled and just define the character as like, look, you can make a big giant green boxing glove, but Neal Adams brought it to another level, really kind of highlighted the power of this character. Obviously, the Batman work, everything that was done, the introduction of Ra's al Ghul in Batman, is an incredible run. The 240, it was the when they brought back Two-Face. That was another big kind of major story. Again, the pairing of Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil was just incredible. Like, that was an amazing combo of people, and DC has rightly and correctly reprinted and resold and gone back to the well with those many times. But I think it's worth looking into some of his more independent work. Some of the stuff that he's done in the horror genre in particular. I know that gets tossed around a lot. I think very, very good stuff. Did some stuff with war comics. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that Neal Adams has done over the years, working with some of the biggest, obviously the biggest writers around. So, very sad, the passing of Neal Adams. Died at 80. But survived by his wife and his children, Jason, Joel, and Josh, all of which are artists. So the legacy continues in his generation. But you'll be missed, Neal Adams, and thank you for everything that you gave to comics.